Feels weird to be back here, but... Hi folks, Harry here, and welcome back to Other Worlds Than These. So I am now in my original background that I used for about 15 of my videos, something like that. I thought that because I'm making a Stephen King related video today, I would go back to the place where I used to make my videos when I was called Reader of Kings. So I am making a video in this background and I'm absolutely loving it. I miss this background so much. You may notice got a new edition. I've got a Shawshank Redemption poster that you can't see very well. I'll throw an image on screen if you want to see it properly. So this video is going to be my first Stephen King dedicated video since I changed my name to Other Worlds Than These, and I am so excited because I still love Stephen King. I just wanted a way to make videos comfortably and be able to talk about whatever books that I like. So this is my first Stephen King video as Other Worlds Than These. Feels good. So this video is some underrated Stephen King books. So I have 7 Stephen King books that I think are severely underrated, and I'm going to get into these right now. Quick shout out time. I want to shout out a channel called Jude's Book Life. He is new to the booktube world and he specifically makes videos about Stephen King. His videos are great and I think you should watch all of his videos, they're brilliant. So let's get into the video. So the first book that I have is Thinner by Richard Bachman. This is about a man who runs over a traveller with his car, and the traveller puts a curse on him to get thinner every single day for the rest of his life. And it's really, really scary. This book does not have the best reviews, but I personally absolutely adored it. My hair's going mental, I'm so sorry. But yeah, this book is really scary and very thrilling, very short as well. It's just over 300 pages, and I absolutely love this. So I feel like I should probably mention that in Thinner, the travellers in the book are referred to with a slur. So if you're not okay with that, then maybe don't read it. On the topic of underrated books about someone getting thinner every day, Elevation by Stephen King. This is a novella that's about 120 pages, and it is about a man called Scott who, for some reason, loses weight but looks exactly the same. So he's constantly losing hundreds of pounds, but he still looks exactly the same as he used to before he started losing the weight. And it's not scary, this is not horror, but it is supernatural, and I do like it a lot. There are LGBTQ characters in this book, which I am personally a massive fan of, and it's very underrated. No one likes this, but I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. So the next one is probably not so underrated, but I think it's just underly appreciated, and this is The Institute. This is Stephen King's latest novel release, and it is about a boy called Luke Ellis who is captured by a mysterious organisation, and this organisation have kidnapped loads of kids across the United States who all have telekinetic or telepathic powers, and it's so good. It's not Stephen King's best book, it's certainly not his worst book. I rated this 5 stars on Goodreads. It's in my top 10 Stephen King books of all time, and I absolutely love it. It doesn't have any spoilers for any other Stephen King books, so this realistically could be your first Stephen King if you are interested in reading any of his books. The next book I want to talk about is Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. This is the sequel to The Shining, which is one of Stephen King's most loved and most famous books of all time. And people seem to really despise Dr. Sleep, and I don't get it. This has a very different storyline to The Shining. I think the only reason it's considered a sequel is it follows the adult life of Danny Torrance, the kid from The Shining. So my favourite part about this book is definitely the villain. Rose the Hat is one of my favourite Stephen King villains ever. She is badass, she is awesome. There is one scene in this book that chilled me to the bone, and it's so thrilling, it's so awful. It's not as bad as the beginning of The Outsider, and if you know, you know, but it's horrifying. Next up is underrated, but the people who love it, and this is The Long Walk by Richard Bachman. It's a dystopian book, and it is following a boy called Ray and 99 other boys in this event called The Long Walk, and they have to walk at a speed of, I think it's at least 4 miles an hour, and they've got 3 warnings. If they get more than 3 warnings, they get shot, and it's so thrilling. There can only be one winner. And there's multiple characters in this book, so you know that they're all gonna die but one. And it's so thrilling. I read this for the stay home reading rush, and it was just absolutely fantastic. The hair, bloody hell. The next book is a chonker. It is Needful Things by Stephen King, coming in at 933 pages. This book is about a new person coming into the town of Castle Rock and starting his own business with a small shop called Needful Things, which sells everything that your heart possibly could desire, but for a cost. And the cost is not necessarily money. This book just goes absolutely insane towards the end. If you like books where everything just goes to hell and people are murdering each other and there is revenge and death and terror, read this. It is so good, and in my opinion, one of the most underrated Stephen King books. So the last Stephen King book, which I think is heavily underrated, is Gerald's Game. This, I feel like, is the most underrated Stephen King book that I have ever read. I loved this book. It is so good. It is about a woman called Jessie and her husband Gerald. Their marriage is kind of going down the drain, but they take a vacation to this cabin in Maine to spice things up, and they start this sex game, including handcuffs, and it doesn't go well. This has the most gut-wrenching, most disgusting scene I have ever read in my life, but I love this book so much. I can't wait to reread it. I'll probably reread it quite soon, actually. Gerald's Game is, in my opinion, the most underrated Stephen King book, and I love this so much. So that is it for my most underrated Stephen King books, in my opinion. I hope you enjoyed my return to Stephen King on this channel, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Comment below some video suggestions you'd like to see next on this channel. Subscribe to my channel for more Stephen King bookish videos. Wow, that felt good to say again. Turn on post notifications by ringing that bell if you want to be notified every single time I upload a new video. My Goodreads link is in the description below, as is my Instagram, and I will see you for another video. Bye!